Welcome to Platinum Hunters Extra, and I bet you didn't think you'd be seeing me this quickly again for another PS Plus update, but this time not for the essential games that you get for free with the subscription, but now we're going to be talking about the extra and premium games. I put up a community post and the results were resounding. Yes, you guys want me to cover these games every month, and I will. I am a people pleaser. I love to please the masses. So we are definitely going to be covering all of these games now in the PS Plus categories. We got PS Plus Extra and Premium covering in the mid-month, and Essential right at the beginning of the month. And this month is particularly special because it is the 1 year anniversary of the launch of the Extra and Premium tiers. So they're doing some special celebration stuff, especially with the PlayStation Stars stuff, as well as some new games that have come to the catalog. They're going to get native streaming on PS5 very soon. They're working on it. They've told us that they're working on it, which is going to be cool. You can just stream the games from your PS5, including the ones in your personal library. But we're going to talk about the games. That's what it comes down to. What are you getting for your buck in the extra and premium tiers? And I've got this awesome graphic by Nobel on Twitter, who does a great job with these infographics. Shout out to him. And we got to see the full scope of the games that are coming to the extra tier. There are a total of 24 of them, plus your 3 that come in the premium tier. I would say the biggest ones coming to the service are definitely stuff like Inscryption, Far Cry 6, TMNT, Shredder's Revenge, and Rogue Legacy 2, which is a brand new day and date drop on PlayStation. This game has been out on Xbox for almost a year, and it's been out on Switch since November, but it's finally here on PlayStation. People really love the first one, especially if you're a Vita owner. They're gonna love this one. Then we got more games coming: Soulstice, Tacoma, Deus Ex Mankind Divided, Killing Floor 2, 100 Days Winemaking Simulator, Dodgeball Academia, Redout 2, MX versus ATV Legends, and that's not all. We got lots more, especially if you're looking for something for your kid to play. There's Paw Patrol, My Friend Peppa Pig, Let's Go, DC League of Super Pets, and then we got more serious ones from there. The Talos Principle Deluxe Edition, perfect timing because the second game is coming out down the line. Elix 2, Lonely Mountains Downhill, Vampire the Masquerade, Coteries of New York, which is like a visual novel game. You got A Hat in Time, Cardo, Forager, The Wild at Heart, and Thief, which I think is a very underrated game. Heading over to our premium tier, which has been not quite the same buck as the extra tier when you look at the full scope of the games that have come out in this 1 year. But we got a banger in Killzone Liberation. There are not many Killzone games I can cover on Platinum Hunters simply because their online services are gone and they had online trophies. You got stuff like Killzone 2, 3, Shadowfall, and Mercenary. I can't cover any of those, but what I can cover is this one. So this is going to get trophies. They'll come out on the Tuesday. I'm recording this ahead of time, so I don't think I'll be able to cover the trophies for it. Maybe we'll just do a video for it because I do really like this game. And the other ones you're getting are Worms and Herc's Adventure. Worms more popular, Herc's Adventure a more obscure PS1 game that a few people will kind of remember from back in the day. But I think the standout one, of course, is Killzone Liberation. Great game. I have almost beat it before, and hopefully we'll get a chance to beat it again and talk about Killzone. I like Killzone. So I've gone ahead and looked at all the trophy guides for these games, and the hardest games in this drop are Soulstice, Redout 2, and some people consider TMNT Shredder's Revenge as a difficult game to platinum, although I don't think it's quite that difficult, and I will be doing a trophy guide episode for that. And I think Rogue Legacy 2 is going to be one of those also difficult games if it's anything like the first game, which was incredibly difficult to platinum. If you're looking for the more easier games to platinum, you'll be in and out pretty quick. You can't go any easier than the 3 that they released: Paw Patrol, My Friend Peppa Pig, and DC League of Super Pets. But if you don't want to play those games because they're not for you, they're for your son or your daughter, definitely check out games like Vampire the Masquerade Coteries in New York, which is a visual novel kind of game, very easy to complete. The Wild at Heart, I checked, is another easy one to complete. And as well, you got Tacoma, which is another easier game. If you remember Gone Home, this is the same developer. This is Fulbright, who also made Tacoma as well. So that's another one that's a lot easier. Also, check out Dodgeball Academia. It has an assist mode if you want something easier, or you can play it regularly. It is a dodgeball RPG game, which is very cool, and definitely one game I have to make time to actually go ahead and check it out. So the way I'm going to cover some of these trophy guides in depth every month is I'm just going to pick about 5 or 6 of them, the ones that I think are interesting. Also, I'm going to try and put a variety of games, so I'm not covering, let's say, all the open world releases or all of the Souls-like releases. I'm going to try and get a breadth of different types of games. And we're going to start off with probably the most important drop in this list. And I know not everybody likes this series, but I think it is the most popular. You got Far Cry 6, which is a 3 out of 10 difficulty, 1 playthrough, 30 hours, although you could definitely spend more time in this game because of how big of an open world it really is. And just at the glance here, you've got online trophies that you need to do, as well as some co-op stuff. There is one missable trophy here, hidden in plain sight, and that is for finding your way to Miami, which I think, I'm not going to spoil it, I think it's one of the alternate endings that you can get. It's the secret ending. If you've played Far Cry games before, like 3, 4, and onward, there is always a secret ending, like a hidden ending that you can get. I think that's what that is. So it doesn't seem like it's like too far out of your way to get. You can just get that on a separate playthrough. But as you go through, you got essentially your camps, you got beating your story trophies, you got a whole bunch of places to go, things to collect. It's an open world kind of checklist kind of game. Kind of like we've seen before, kind of like we've covered tons of times on here. And the thing that is different about this one is there is challenges. And it does say here you have to connect to the Ubisoft servers to do them, and it says you can do them solo or with a friend, but you need to be connected online to do them. I have a feeling that later down the road, this is going to be one of those games where they're going to re-release it, and it's going to be called Far Cry 6 Classic Edition, like they did for 3, for 4, I think 5? I can't remember. But I know they did it for sure for 3 and 4, where they take out all the online stuff and you just play the single player stuff. But that's going to be for a long while, so if you want to jump in right now, go for it, and you can do all of those challenges by yourself. I did mention that we're going to be making a guide for TMNT Shredder's Revenge. I think I have a handful of trophies left, about 4 or 5 or so. But we'll take a look now, ahead of time, and see what we got. And if I remember correctly, you've got story mode trophies, so you're going to want to run through the story with one character and go through all of that and get all the trophies you can through it. And of course, you're going to have to run it through with every character because you're going to want to max level your character to level 10. And you got to do that for all 7 characters, one of them which you unlock when you beat the game the first time. I'm not going to tell you who, but you will need to do it with all 7 of them. You're going to have to see all the endings, so you're going to have to rerun the last chapter if you're not going to run it outright with the character. You're going to have to rerun the last chapter with every character just to see the ending. And then you got a whole bunch of other trophies to do. You got arcade mode where you have to beat the game on the hardest difficulty and beat the game with using 1 credit. So if you die, that's it. You're out. There's more trophies beyond that, but I'll leave the rest to the guide that I'm making, especially the one where you have to beat Super Shredder without getting hit. I'll leave it all to that guide when it eventually comes, and I'll update this video if you're seeing this in the future. Just look up top or look in the description when I have that video up. Now, if you couldn't tell by the name of this game, it's called Soulstice, but it's spelled with the word soul in it, and it is indeed a Souls-like kind of game. Think Demon Souls, think Dark Souls, think Bloodborne. This is one of those types of games. I figured we should cover it because it is one of the harder platinum trophies to get in this group. And of course, the way you do it, you got the story trophies, so there's chapters that you need to beat. You got beating it on the different difficulties. You got Night difficulty, Chimera difficulty, Transcend difficulty. So this game keeps getting harder, and you will need to beat it on the hardest difficulty. You've got upgrades to your max level and your max, I guess this is magic, if I had to take a guess. There's challenges to beat, there's skills to unlock. Then there's complete 1 chapter on Night difficulty or higher without being hit once. No hit trophies. Okay, there's rankings to this, so complete 1 chapter on any difficulty obtaining diamond. Okay, complete the Chimera difficulty obtaining platinum or above. Complete the Harbinger on Transcend difficulty obtaining diamond. Complete all challenges obtaining diamond. Okay, so you're gonna have to be really, really good at this game to get the platinum, especially if there is rankings involved. That sounds awful. And then you got more miscellaneous trophies. This game looks hard. From the sounds of it, it definitely sounds like it's going to be a difficult game. No surprise when it comes to like these types of games, when it comes to Souls-like types of games, but this one sounds pretty freaking difficult. Damn. Inscryption is a game I don't want to sleep on, as it sounds really cool, and I am a big TCG player. I do love playing Magic and Marvel Snap in my spare time. It says finish the main story, and it says here, if you've played other TCGs in the past, mainly Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Magic the Gathering, you will feel right at home here. Okay, so I should know what to do, kind of thing, when it comes to this. So it says beat the main story, then it says clean up any miscellaneous trophies from the main game. So there's probably quite a few things. And then there's this thing called Casey's Mod, and it is an expansion pack of sorts, and with a challenge mode in it, probably what brings this game up to a 5 or a 6 out of 10 according to this guide here. So this game, through and through, a TCG game. It looks really cool. It's got this very dark kind of aesthetic to it that I kind of like. This could honestly have its own Platinum Hunters video on its own, where we get like right into the minutia of this game. If you're the type of person that likes card games and TCGs, I think this is definitely one that you're going to enjoy. And as far as the difficulty, I think it's right in line with the most of these kinds of games. Like Slay the Spire is definitely this hard. Some other TCG games are definitely like around the 5 out of 10 difficulty range. So this one definitely looks cool. And finally, if you know anything about me, Mr. 3D platformer, of course I was going to end off with this one. A Hat in Time is definitely a game that I really need to get to, and really need to freaking play, because I hear this is an excellent 3D platformer that has the kind of DNA of stuff like Sly Cooper and the old Collectathon and 64 kind of games. So this is definitely one that I need to get to. It's evolved into something I can't believe it's become, especially with like the multiplayer component, but I don't think that's part of the actual main game itself, which is a straightforward 3D platformer. And you've got stuff like collect everything, it says. Stage 1. Couldn't be more 3D platformer if they tried. So stage 1, collect everything. Collect all the timepieces in the different places. Earn 3 badges. Then you've got cleanup stuff, where you've got a whole bunch of side quest stuff. Find all murder on the Owl Express clues. You got like find Hat Kid's secret hideout, and a bunch of other like kind of Easter egg kind of things. There is one trophy here I was noticing. It says DLC required, so let's find out about that. Return home. Collect all timepieces. If the player has DLC installed, they will need to also earn all timepieces from those respective DLCs. If the DLC is installed, you will also need to earn the following. Okay. So that's not good. So maybe don't install the DLC if you want to get this trophy. I don't know if it's like paid DLC or if it automatically gets installed when you start the game. I'm not sure. But it does say here, in total, if the player has both DLC installed, the trophy will unlock when the 56th timepiece is earned, which should be the Time Rift Tour, if the player has both DLC before starting a fresh file. If the DLC is not installed, only the base game 40 will be required, so it may be in the player's best interest to not install DLC until after finishing the base game. Okay, so don't install the DLC if you just want to go for the platinum. Couldn't be more clear than that. And I was looking at the DLC for this game. One of the packs seems pretty easy and straightforward, and that's the Nayakazu Metro DLC. 3 out of 10, it'll take you 2 hours. There's stuff to collect, like more timepieces. Cool. So that one is fine. That's not the problem. But you go to the other one that says Seal the Deal DLC, and all of a sudden this thing turns into a 6 out of 10 affair. There's more timepieces to collect. There's co-op. I think that's the one that introduced multiplayer, is this pack. So there's co-op stuff. And then there is complete Death Wish mode. And what is Death Wish mode? It says here that the Death Wish stamps from the DLC must also be collected for this trophy. Okay, if you have the other one, the other thing installed. But this makes it so you have to go out and complete the levels and get 36 main objectives along with 72 bonus objectives. And some of these are level remixes, some of these are community riffs, so stuff that community people have made. And some of these are very, very difficult to complete. So it depends on what you want. If you want to go for just the platinum and have that traditional 3D experience, don't install the DLC so that way you don't have to play through these and get those star pieces and whatever else trophies they want. Just focus on the main game. Otherwise, if you're going for 100% and you're a list completionist, know that you will have some co-op to do. You will have some DLC that you need to do, and that's going to feed into the main game as well. And it looks like this is the hardest part of the experience, is this Seal the Deal DLC. But otherwise, cool game. I've always heard that this game is excellent as far as platformers go, so I may even go ahead and do one for this, but time permits, of course. Overall, I think this extra month is pretty solid. Maybe not quite as good as the last month, which had a couple more bigger bright spots on it. But going forward, I'll keep tracking the differences between the months. And of course, I think As far as premium goes, it is what it is. It's kind of tracking the same way as the other previous months have gone. Like, where is Twisted Metal? Where is some of these other games that were missing, like Resistance Retribution? The studio that makes the game, like Resistance Retribution, is still very much part of the PlayStation Studios ecosystem. So what's going on? Like, where is this thing? But overall, we'll keep tracking this as we go, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know which games you are going to be playing this month. If you have extra and you're going to check out any of these games and get the platinum trophies, any and all comments down below. And I hope you guys have excellent, successful trophy run expeditions, and peace out.